Hi guys, my name is Abdul Rahman and welcome to Learning Game. Guys, in this video tutorial of Android development, I'm going just what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about the different layouts in Android Studio. Just a few because you know we will use these layouts in different Android applications, and we use these layouts mostly other than the other layouts that are present here. So if you go to your project and in the activity main.xml file, in the plate you will see a tab named layout, and all these layouts are present here. By default, when you create a new project, the Android Studio creates a constant layout. What the constant layout does is it does not accept any kind of margin. It works according to the x and y coordinates, just like we do in math graphs. So I'm going to tell you a few, but the best layouts. The first one is relative and the other is linear layout, the two layouts that we mostly use in our Android application. What you can do is come into the text view, in the text mode you can say, and then you have to remove this first line, android.support.constraint layout, and then you have to type capital RELA, relative layout. As you type, it gives you suggestion, and this is the root element of our application. Let me just show you. You see it has changed to relative layout. If I click on it, it selects the whole screen on the right, if you can see. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to put some text and a few things. Let's put a text view. You see, as I am putting the text view just in the middle of, according to this screen, the text view is set. If I go into the text mode, and you see center horizontal true and center vertical true. Now what these two lines means that whatever the widget or you are using, text view, button, whatever you are using, it will be center according to horizontal and according to vertical, because these both are set to true. So this makes our text view to be in the center of our activity, whatever the device is. So this is a benefit in relative layout. But if I take a button, and when I put a button just below this text view as like this, now what actually happened is, if I go into the text view, you will see every element that you add will have a unique ID, because we have to differentiate between each and every element with a unique ID. So text view has an ID of text view 2. You can also edit this ID as well, and the button that I have added has an ID of just button. Okay, so I will later use these IDs in the Java class. So for now you have to just understand. According, Android Studio is really easy to understand because it is really user friendly, because you know the words that have been used in these XML files and Java files are user friendly, and we often use these words. So now what does this line means? Layout below. Layout below means that whatever the layout with this ID text view 2, which is this one, you have to create this button below that, and with a margin top, you know that it will give a margin top of 34. If I reduce this margin to 30, let's say 30 dp, then now in the design view you will see the button will get a little bit up. It gets a little bit upwards because the margin is set to 30 dp according to this text view. Now I have already told you about the width and height of the layout, and it is also in center according to horizontal but not in vertical, because if I set it to center vertical, then it will cover the text view as well, so we cannot see the text view if the button is in the same place as the text view. So this is an advantage for relative layout, that whatever we put in our activity, it is at the same place as we drag and drop or create it, but it also has some disadvantage as well. The relative layout, the disadvantages of this layout is that, for example, if you have a big screen tablet, or you can say iPod or whatever, sorry, iPod, not iPod, a tablet, just suppose an Android tablet, and you create a text view and a button according to your this screen. You create it on this upper left corner where my mouse is moving right now. You create these two elements here, and when you run your application in the tablet, what will happen is that these two buttons and text view will these button and text view will stay in here, in this part of your application, your activity, and the rest of the part will be it will be empty. So it does not fit with each and every device, because if I have given this button a margin of 30 dp from the top, so it will set accordingly to the other element or widget, or if I can also give it a margin of the root element, which is my relative layout. So let's show you. I am already also putting another text view, and let's just go to the text view, and you see this is the text view 3, and change this text to my text. And what actually it happens is, you see all these lines have been added: margin left, margin start, margin top. Margin left is the margin that is given to this text according to the screen from the left side. So I hope you understand what actually I'm trying to say. And the margin top is 27 dp, so the text view has a margin of 27, so it will look in this screen, it will look appear here in this corner. But if you have a tablet or anything, that then it will take the space accordingly to the margin that you have given. So now this is the simple layout. So let's just run our application and see the results for just one time. So what actually happens, and after this I will tell you about the other layout, which is the linear layout. Linear layout is very useful for you. Let just Android Studio install the APK. First I will show you the output of this layout, and then I will move on to linear layout. So I'll be back in a second. Now actually it's installing the APK, and I'm going to open my Android now. So you see my application has been running. So you see my text and text view and a button which I have placed just like in the Android Studio. If I click on this button, nothing is happening because I did not done any kind of. So now let's move on to the other layout which I was talking about. The other layout is first I will remove all these widgets from my activity, and let's check my screen is empty. Now you can do is just remove this relative layout and type linear layout. Okay, now what linear layout does is, you can see the bars here, you can see the bars and a name vertical. So this linear layout is the vertical layout. What happens in the linear vertical linear layout is, let me just show you by dragging some items in it. For example, if I drag a text view and then followed by another button and another text view and another button. For example, if I have two text views and two text buttons. So what actually this layout does is, whatever you put in this layout, it will make the things in a vertical alignment. It will put all the widgets in a vertical alignment, just like it is doing it here. You see a text view and a button, then another text view and another button. So what you can do is, it is useful for every device. If you want to put create a table kind of thing, if you want to show user the scoreboard like things, so you can create a linear layout with vertical orientation. how you can change the orientation. You see, when you come to the text side, there is an property of this layout which is Android orientation vertical. Now what I'm going to tell you, another thing is the other layout which is linear layout, but its orientation is horizontal. So I will type and I will create another linear layout. So I will say wrap content and wrap content. You have to give the width and height, so I will say match parent. Okay, so width is match parent and height is wrap content. It will wrap the content inside whatever inside is. So this is the root layout, and this is another, it's kind of a nesting layouts, a layout inside another layout. You see, this time it's the horizontal layout. By default it's a horizontal layout. If I put the property just like it is in here, I can copy paste it, then it will also become a vertical layout. But I will actually do is just copy this button and a text view both, and paste in this layout and show you the difference between the two results. So ID should be unique, so this is why the error is occurring. So what I can do is give it some unique ID 6 and 6. Okay, so now let's go into the design view. I have created two text views and two buttons in the root layout, and I have created another layout. Okay, now if you drag the mouse, it says the default orientation will be horizontal and you have to change it whatever. So you see, when I click on this linear layout, I have two things. One is a text view and the other is the button. The button is dragged to the right corner. Why? Because the property of this text view is set to match parent in width. So what I can do is just change it to wrap content and change the button wrap content. So the width and height of the both widgets are set to wrap content, and now you see the difference. So now whenever I place something in this layout, it will be dragged into this layout, which is the linear layout. What you can do is you can just pick it and put it in the above layout. Now you see, you can also drag and drop things and do stuff like that. So these were the layouts you mostly use in the Android Studio. So the first was the linear layout vertical, which has all the items in a vertical alignment, and the second is the horizontal. Whenever or whatever you put inside is it becomes in a horizontal alignment. So it is useful for creating such such a basic application like calculators. For example, if you want to create some buttons like 1 2 3 4 clear and plus minus multiply divide whatever, so it can be helpful for you in that application. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please comment, subscribe, support for more, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe for the next upcoming videos.